Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be talking all about your rising sign, aka your ascendant. If you do not know what your rising sign is, you can easily find it by using any birth chart calculator on Google, but you will need to know an accurate birth time because rising signs change every 2 hours. Your rising sign is the sign that was rising on the eastern horizon at the time that you were born. And your rising sign is one of the most important parts of your birth chart. So we have our sun sign, which is our soul and the essence of who we are. And then we have our moon sign, which is kind of like who we are internally at our core. But then our rising sign is the way that we approach and view the world. It's kind of like the lens that we see the world through. And it is also the way that other people perceive us. Now, your rising sign is also going to determine your physical appearance. So I made a video a while ago, it's up on my channel, about rising sign, physical appearance and style and persona. I am going to link it down below. If you haven't checked that out, go ahead and watch it because I'm not going to focus so much on the physical appearance in this video. We're going to talk more about the characteristics of the rising signs and kind of how you view the world and how other people view you as well. Your rising sign is really important. I always tell people when you are meeting someone, you are meeting their rising sign. This is why when you first meet someone and then you get to know them a little bit, a lot of times we're like, wow, you're nothing like what I thought you were. That's because we initially see people's rising signs. So your rising sign is kind of commonly known as being like your social personality. This is the mask that we wear when we go out into the world. And like I know for myself, I can actually watch myself step into my rising sign when I go to work, when I'm in a new environment, if I go to a party. And so in a lot of ways, our rising sign is kind of like the armor that we wear to keep our sun sign and our moon sign safe. It's essentially how we view the world, the attitude and our approach that we take in the world, and then also how other people perceive us and the first impression that we make. We are gonna go over all 12 rising signs, and leave me a comment down below trying to guess my rising sign. You might already know what it is because I'm pretty open with my birth chart, and I think my rising sign is like insanely obvious, or like it's at least really obvious what my ruling planet is in my opinion, but I thought it would be fun if you guys guessed, so let me know what you think. If you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up so I know to make more videos like this, and please subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you guys for watching, and let's get started. All right, so Aries rising, these people really view the world in a very fearless way. So Aries rising are very courageous, they're very motivated, and they're very eager to get out there and kind of tackle whatever is in front of them. These people are very direct, very blunt, very straight and to the point, and they tend to act and speak before they think. They really act on impulse. Aries is ruled by Mars, so this is kind of an aggressive energy. So an Aries rising can be very in your face, just very bold, very outspoken, but they are very determined and very motivated. They're the type of people who fall 7 times, get up 8. And I find that Aries risings tend to be almost motivated by like failure or motivated by doubt, because Aries rising does have this innate competitive nature within them. And it's not even really that they're competing with other people. They're more kind of competing with themselves. They want to prove things to themselves and prove other people wrong. So an Aries rising will get really motivated by somebody doubting them, or if somebody like pisses them off, they will almost like channel that energy into like their motivation, and they will be even more determined. Now in Aries rising, because they are so quick to act on impulse, they can sometimes lack the planning process of things. So an Aries rising will kind of go out and try and start something new or try and accomplish something, but they've maybe not planned properly because they're just almost like overly optimistic, I guess, in a way. So you will find that as an Aries rising, it might feel like you're never really accomplishing your goals, or that it might just take you several times to accomplish your goal. But again, that kind of feeds into that energy of an Aries rising where they're motivated by trying to prove to themselves that they can do something. Aries risings are also very active usually. They're very restless. These people tend to be into sports or working out or be athletes of some sort because Aries kind of does rule like the physical body in general. So a lot of Aries risings do tend to be very active. An Aries rising can kind of come off as being like impatient or rude, but again, it's just that like go, go, go mentality that they have. They're very enthusiastic and very quick. So quick in all senses of the word. So although they can be quick to anger, they also get over things really quickly. They don't hold a grudge. So Aries is a very in-your-face, busy, and just like firecracker type of rising sign. Okay, so Taurus risings view the world in a very grounded and practical and stable approach. So Taurus really values value. So Taurus is ruled by Venus, which means that sometimes a Taurus can be materialistic. They can really like luxury items, but it's more so just that Taurus is really only interested in things that bring them value. So whether that's people or experiences, Taurus likes to see the return on their investment. So they're just not going to really dabble in something that isn't really like of any value to them. So they're a bit more methodical and just kind of like strategic about where they choose to like put their energy into. Now Taurus rising does have this stereotype of coming off as being like boring or lazy. That's totally not true though, because Taurus is very motivated by money. So these people will work really hard to have a nice home and to just be really stable. But they're not lazy. They just really like comfort. So a Taurus will be perfectly happy like sitting at home, eating good food, you know, just hanging out and chilling. A Taurus rising will really make people feel very calm. They're very chill. They have a nurturing energy to them. And I always describe Taurus as just being unproblematic. They're not messy. They're not all over the place. They're not like emotionally erratic. They really are very stable. Taurus rising also gets kind of this stereotype also as being stubborn. And although Taurus, it is a stubborn sign, but I tend to just see it more as like a Taurus knows what they want. And once they make up their mind, that's it. They've made up their mind. They just kind of see the best option and see what's best for them, and then they stick to that. So they're very reliable and they don't just make like crazy erratic decisions. They really think things through, and again, they put their energy into things that are actually valuable. So as a result of that, they can come off as being kind of cautious. They just really feel things out before they jump in. Again, this is very unlike Aries. They don't act on impulse. So a Taurus rising is someone who's very cool, calm, collected, very chill, very just like easy flowing, easy to be around. But then they're also like very sturdy and very reliable. Okay, so Gemini risings. Gemini risings see the world in a very curious way. So Gemini risings, they love to learn. They love to have their mind stimulated. These people are very curious, very quirky, very interesting. They're very witty. They love to banter. They're very sarcastic. Gemini is ruled by Mercury, which is the mind's planet, and it's all about communication. So Gemini risings love to talk. They love to socialize. They will talk to anyone. They're very animated in the way that they talk. They're almost kind of, they could be kind of dramatic in the way that they talk because they're just masters of communication. They can really captivate a room with the way that they speak. You will always have a really funny and interesting conversation with a Gemini rising. Like I said, they really like to learn. So what I find with Gemini risings is that they do like to dabble in all sorts of things. So as a Gemini rising, you might not be the type of person where you pick one career or one hobby and that's it and you stick to it. You might be somebody that has multiple different careers throughout their lifetime that are all like very diverse and different, because a Gemini will be curious about something and want to try something, but then once they've done it and they're like, okay, I'm good at it, I know what this is about, now let's move on to the next thing, because they always want to be stimulated. So Gemini risings, they truly have a gift with words. And so these people make really good, like anything in the field of communication, but also even in business, because they're very persuasive. They are these chameleons that can blend in anywhere, and people just love to talk to them. You always have an exciting conversation with a Gemini rising. Now, they can also be very restless, and their mind is always go, go, go. So these people will definitely have a lot of energy. They will be really fun to be around. They like to have fun. They can be spontaneous. Gemini also rules the hands. So Gemini risings can be really good with their hands. They can be very creative. They can create things with their hands. And then Gemini risings will also, because again, they're so good with communication and kind of just like understanding how the mind works, they will do this really crazy and kind of creepy thing where they can kind of mimic other people's personalities. So that's why they're chameleons and fit in anywhere. They will almost mimic your personality to connect with you and kind of make you feel more comfortable. All right, so Cancer risings see the world in an intuitive way. They really feel, and they feel energy rather than logically looking at a situation or like looking at the physical aspects of a situation. They really see the world through their intuition and their feelings. So Cancer is very sensitive and very sensitive to energy. Now with Cancer rising, it can kind of go like one of two ways. They will either be very outwardly sensitive, so they will react very emotionally to anything. They'll kind of wear their heart on their sleeves. They can be very sensitive, have their feelings hurt easily. Or the other aspect of Cancer the crab is that tough exterior. So a Cancer rising might really have their wall up. They could even come off as being kind of distant or just like hard to reach. Even kind of cold, because they are so sensitive that they put a wall up, because Cancers really need to feel safe around people and just in their environments. Now, Cancer risings can be incredibly psychic because, again, they view the world through their intuition, not through the logical mind. So they do have a very nurturing presence about them because of that. People feel really safe around a Cancer rising. Even if they do have a wall up, you still feel safe around them because they just have that motherly, even if you're a man, Cancer's ruled by the moon, which is the mother. So they have this motherly, nurturing aspect to them. So they really make people feel at home whenever you're around a Cancer rising. They can also come off, of course, as being moody. This is a trait about Cancer that will never change. So they could definitely be moody. They're very influenced by how things make them feel. They are a really great listener. Cancer risings tend to really like to help people. They like to be there for people. And they do really strive for safety and security, because Cancer rising is also a sign that can be insecure. So they really navigate the world through their emotions, and they are really great at connecting with other people. Leo rising. Leo views the world as their stage. Leo's ruled by the sun. Leo is the center of attention, even if they don't mean to. So a Leo rising walks in a room and their presence can't be missed. They're natural leaders, so people just naturally follow their lead. When a Leo walks into a room, a Leo rising, you know it. They are exciting, they're loud, they're outgoing, they're uplifting, they have this optimistic, confident energy about them. Now, Leo is a sign that's known for being incredibly confident, but they are also usually pretty insecure underneath that. So a Leo is very sensitive and has a really big heart. Of course, you know, they're the lion and that Leo rules the heart, but they just have this aura about them that is so uplifting, so optimistic, so confident. They are not afraid to be themselves. They're bold. And so people really pick up on this energy of a Leo rising. Being around a Leo rising makes you feel excited about life. It makes you feel happy. They're incredibly magnetic, and they just attract attention onto them without even trying. It's just a natural gift that Leo has. So these people will be like the performers in the room. They're the comedians in a room. They are actors and actresses. They just have these really bold and kind of theatrical personalities about them. They do tend to speak their mind, but they can also over-exaggerate sometimes. Again, it's for that like theatrical effect that Leos just like have to have. Now, Leo risings can come off as being snobby or self-centered or even kind of bossy, but that's just because they have high standards and they're not afraid to make those standards known. Leo is kind of known as being a like royal sign. So Leo risings, they know what they deserve and they're not afraid to express that to other people. And people will also find Leo risings to be self-centered because of the confidence that they exude. So this can rub other people the wrong way because a lot of people wish they had the confidence that a Leo rising has. So Virgo risings view the world in an analytical way, in a very productive way. And Virgo risings tend to be perfectionists. This is a trait in all Virgo placements. So Virgos will be the type of people that come off as really having it all together. They're incredibly organized. Like, open up the fridge of a Virgo. Just find a Virgo, look in their fridge. That's all I'm gonna say. They're very well put together. Everything is orderly in their life. So to other people, a Virgo rising comes off as really having it all together, really being on top of their shit. But what's kind of funny about a Virgo rising is that underneath it and behind closed doors, Virgos are like chaos. There's like flames and shit's always crazy because Virgos put so much pressure on themselves. So Virgos have really high standards. So they view the world and they view people with these high standards. But as critical as they can be of other people, they're 1,000 times more critical of themselves. They're very hypersensitive to the way that they come across and just all the pressure they put on themselves. They want to be perfect. They want everything to be organized and orderly. You might find with a Virgo rising that they're not afraid to kind of like, I don't know, almost point out your flaws. It can come off as being kind of rude or kind of like cold. Everything they do, they're critical of. So it can come off as them kind of being like detached emotionally. Like they're just very high strung. So that's why there can be like chaos going on in the mind of a Virgo, but on the outside, they really come off as just having everything together because they do, but there's also like a lot of pressure on the inside that they like put on themselves. They can worry about absolutely everything. They can be sensitive, even though they don't show it, they can be sensitive to how other people view them. So again, it's that perfectionist mindset. They have to come off as this, you know, perfect, I have it all together, everything's good, I'm organized, I'm orderly, but it's a lot more stressful than you realize for a Virgo rising. But they can be like really health conscious. They could be really crazy about their health, like they could be like hardcore vegan or something, or they can just be really picky about what they eat. They're very specific about what they like and don't like, and they're not changing their mind. So Libra risings view the world in this like fair approach, okay? Everything has to be fair for a Libra rising. They really care about equality. They care about justice. They really want everyone's needs to be met. And so because of this, Libra risings are famously known as being people pleasers. They like to be pleasant. They do not like conflict, and they will pretty much do anything to keep the peace. So because of this, Libra risings can be walked all over really easily, or they can just kind of downplay like someone's bad behavior because they don't want to blame, they don't want to make someone feel bad. They can definitely kind of sugarcoat or almost like lie a little bit to spare somebody's feelings because they just can't stand to like hurt someone. And what it really comes down to is that Libra risings and all Libra placements, they really want to be liked. They just want people to like them. So that's why they are charming and charismatic, but that's also why they are afraid to hurt someone's feelings. They could be really afraid to speak their truth. They could be afraid to say what's on their mind because they're always thinking about, am I gonna offend someone, or is somebody not gonna like me because I said this? They're really hypersensitive to all of that. Libra is ruled by Venus, which is a very luxurious planet. So Libra tends to really be into fashion. You're gonna find a Libra rising because again, our rising sign has a lot to do with our appearance. So a Libra rising is always put together. They have beautiful homes. They have a perfect outfit. They're balanced. They have jewelry. They have their makeup done. They have their hair done. They're symmetrical. Everything is an aesthetic with a Libra rising. So because of this, Libra risings have this stereotype of being very high maintenance and materialistic. And sometimes that is the case with a Libra rising. A lot of times that's just because of the way that they look and the way that they present themselves, this like pleasant, charming, like I'm always put together type of energy, it translates to other people as this high maintenance, almost like stuck up type of like prissy attitude. Something though about Libra that is really kind of one of their gifts is that a Libra rising is a great mediator. They're peacekeepers. They're really good to go to for advice if you want like really balanced advice, because they're able to look at all angles of a situation. If there's 5 people fighting, Libra sees the perspective of all 5 people and can really understand why people feel the way that they do. And so they can do a really good job of mediating and just being like a diplomat and really keeping the peace. Libra risings are also kind of famously known as being flirty and romantic, and that is because they're ruled by Venus, but also because Libra rules partnerships. And as a result of that, Libra rising can really thrive when they are in a partnership, a healthy partnership with a partner that is supportive of them. They can really thrive because that's when they feel safe to really be themselves and be more authentic. Scorpio rising. Scorpio is always getting the short end of the stick. Scorpio has more stereotypes than any of the other signs, and that is because Scorpios are incredibly misunderstood. So a Scorpio rising is very misunderstood. Now, one of the common stereotypes of a Scorpio rising is that to other people, they come off as being shady, secretive, up to no good, you know, keeping things private. You don't really know what a Scorpio rising is up to, but that is because Scorpios are very protective, okay? They're protective of themselves, of their feelings, and Scorpios kind of have this like innate paranoia when it comes to trust. Scorpio risings are not gonna let their guard down for anybody. You have to really gain the trust of a Scorpio in order for them to open up and to let down that mysterious wall that they have. So Scorpio risings tend to be reserved. They are always reading the room. They are reading you. They're reading your body language. Scorpio risings see the world through the eyes of like a detective almost. And reading the room, reading people, they can see right through you. They are human lie detectors. Just don't do it. Don't lie to any Scorpio, especially too because there's nothing that they can't stand more than a liar. But so a Scorpio rising is someone that has a really powerful and intense energy about them. They're captivating, they're mesmerizing, people want to know more about them. They just have this really strong presence about them, and they don't even have to say anything. It's just the presence that they have. And Scorpio risings really need privacy. So again, that is why they come off as this like shady and secretive person when they're not. They value their privacy. They don't let a lot of people in. And that's really important to a Scorpio rising. Now, these people are very driven to succeed. Being stable is very important to a Scorpio because Scorpios tend to be exposed to a lot of instability. So they are very driven. They are really willing to work hard to be successful. And they're very psychic. They're very psychic. They're very empathic. Like I said, they read a room, they read you, they pick up on your energy. So a Scorpio rising is a detective and an investigator. They're mysterious. Another like stereotype about Scorpios, and it's not a stereotype, this is like true. People spill their deepest, darkest secrets to Scorpios. And I have a theory that the reason why that happens is because Scorpios are so mysterious and so reserved that people will kind of just give any information. They'll tell their deepest, darkest secrets to a Scorpio almost to try and get a Scorpio to like open up and let their wall down. So it ends up being like Scorpios walk around with everybody's secrets, but like they don't tell you anything about themselves. Okay, so Sagittarius rising, you guys see the world as a playground, okay? Sagittarius risings are incredibly free-spirited, adventurous, they're exciting, larger-than-life personality. So Sagittarius risings, they can be like famous, or they will be like really well-known in the workplace, or they'll have a lot of friends. Like people just remember them. A lot of people want to be around them. A lot of people like them. Sagittarius risings are very outspoken and very blunt, and they can kind of be like tactless when they speak their mind. So they won't really like be sensitive to how somebody feels. They just speak their mind. These people are natural explorers. A Sagittarius rising is the type of person who will like move across the country, live in multiple countries throughout their lifetime. They will want to try like different foods from different cultures. They'll want to see the world. They always want to adventure. And that's kind of like why they're here, is to explore and expand. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, which is the planet of expansion and good fortune. And so these people are always like having big ideas, these huge ideas. They're optimistic. They will take calculated risks. They are really kind of like unafraid to go after what they want. And they are always thinking of like going big, like go big or go home is like the motto of a Sagittarius rising. Sagittarius risings can kind of come off as being like kind of self-centered or just kind of like thinking that they know everything sometimes. I always say that there's unevolved Sagittarius and evolved Sagittarius. And the unevolved Sagittarius, they think they're right about everything. And because like on the other hand, an evolved Sagittarius can really like listen to the opinions of other people and kind of like understand their perspective without judging. The thing with Sagittarius is they can be so opinionated, and they can really like, if they believe in something, they believe in it. You're gonna know about it. You're not gonna change their mind. And they're not going to be afraid to express their opinions, even if they offend people along the way. As a Sagittarius rising, you might not be religious or spiritual, but if you are, you're probably somebody that takes that religion really seriously. You're really devoted to your religion. So yeah, Sagittarius rising is, you know, a traveler, an adventurer, somebody with a lot of really big ideas, somebody that's very bold, very loud, very opinionated, and always just wants to go on an adventure. So Capricorn rising, these people view the world from a goal-oriented perspective, okay? So they're the mountain goat, so they're always climbing up the mountain. Capricorn is a sign that's known for being productive, business-oriented, financially focused. So Capricorn is always working towards their goals. These people are always being productive. They don't really like to do things that are not productive. So a Capricorn rising is somebody that comes off as just being obsessed with their job, obsessed with their business. People are driven by money. They don't know how to be lazy. Like they always have to be productive. And so a Capricorn rising can also come off as being kind of like aloof or cold or like emotionally distant, because they really are more reserved with their emotions. Again, they don't see being like very emotional as being productive. So they don't tend to do that. Now, Capricorn risings it's very likely that growing up, they had to overcome a lot of obstacles, because Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, which is like the father and its authority and its hard life lessons, and it's like it takes work, right, to be rewarded from Saturn. So Capricorn risings can have had like a lot of obstacles in their life, and so that kind of feeds into their determination to be successful. These people are really independent. They are also like family people, but they like to be the provider. They like to be the one that provides like the stability. So these people will do really well with somebody who's very emotionally stable and can give that to a Capricorn. So they don't want somebody that's like an emotional like basket case, but someone who is emotional but just very stable. So that way they can kind of like blend the two energies together and have like a successful and stable and like emotionally fulfilling life together. But Capricorn risings, they come off and they are very responsible, very stable, and they come off as being very serious as well. Capricorn rising is just very mature and very driven. So Aquarius rising sees the world in a very unconventional way. These people are unique, they're different, they want to be unique, they want to be different, they're eccentric, they're out there, they really break the status quo, they don't like the status quo, they don't like tradition, they don't want to do what other people are doing. So an Aquarius rising will come off as being very different and unique. It might seem like they're trying to be different, which they kind of are, because again, they just don't like to fit in with the norm. Aquarius risings can be like genius. They're really smart, they're really intelligent. They can have these genius like world-changing ideas. They're very advanced when it comes to like technology and stuff. So an Aquarius rising can be like an inventor. They are typically focused on like humanitarian efforts and the environment, and like the big picture of like what's right for the planet, and what's right for humanity. So Aquarius rising will have these really like unique and different like status quo shattering types of ideas. Aquarius risings can come off as being rebels. Aquarius is known as being a rebellious sign. And Aquarius rising is really likable, really friendly. Aquarius like rules friendships. So Aquarius tends to have a lot of friends. People really like them. People find them interesting. But then Aquarius also really values their freedom. Freedom's really important to an Aquarius. And Aquarius can also, they're known for being emotionally detached. So, or just detached in every sense of the word. So an Aquarius really likes their alone time. An Aquarius rising will come off as seeming like they're cold or they're distant. They're very observant, but they're detached when it comes to sensitivity and emotions. Definitely very intuitive. They can pick up on like little cues, changes in somebody's behavior. They're very intuitive in like an analytical way. Aquarius rising is definitely like kind of weird. You will like love them or hate them. People will definitely see an Aquarius rising as like the weirdo, the loner, somebody that doesn't fit in. But they like that. Like they're glad that you see them as like the weird loner. They're unconventional. They have out of the box ideas. They're very forward future thinking, and they're very creative. They're creative geniuses. Pisces rising definitely sees the world through like a creative lens, and they can also see the world with rose-colored glasses and people with rose-colored glasses. Pisces risings tend to see the best in people and situations. They are always like rooting on the underdog, right? Like they really see the potential in people. Pisces is a sign that can be very, very like magical, mystical, psychic, spiritual, or they can just be incredibly intuitive, creative, and artistic. It can kind of manifest differently. So a Pisces rising will like see the beauty in everything, and they're very dreamy, and they love peace. They want peace for the world and for everybody. Now a Pisces rising is incredibly empathic, and these people make you feel very comfortable around them. You will feel comfortable to be vulnerable. You will really be able to tell that like they're not judgmental, they're not judging you. You feel free to be yourself around a Pisces rising. These people are so empathic. They're so compassionate. They can feel your emotions. They're similar to Cancer and Scorpio in the fact that they're reading the room, they're reading the energy, they're reading you. They're very psychic. They're very intuitive. Pisces risings can be really sensitive to what they put in their body. It can be like really sensitive when it comes to just like their mental health. So these people really need to take really good care of themselves because they're just sensitive to everything. Pisces is an energy that is not grounded in reality. These people see the world and they live in another dimension of existence. So the reality that a Pisces rising sees is different than the reality that most people see, but it's still reality. They're just in like a different dimension. And that's gonna sound crazy to people that aren't a Pisces rising, or maybe you don't have any Pisces in your chart, but if you have Pisces placements, you know what I mean. Again, this can definitely manifest differently depending on what else is in your chart. There's some Pisces that are grounded, but they're just very intuitive, very creative, very artistic. But then on the other hand, a Pisces rising can really have a hard time being grounded in reality. They can have a hard time like buckling down and getting things done because they do just really go with the flow, and they change with the energy. So as the energy around them changes, they change. So Pisces rising is compassionate, empathetic, creative, artistic, intuitive, and really, really comfortable to be around. All right, you guys, that wraps it up for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you learned something about yourself or somebody else. Share this video with anyone that you think would enjoy it. Give a thumbs up for me if you enjoyed it, and please subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in my next video. Bye.